Good afternoon, folks. I know I'm late. Awakening Israel. The most important thing we can do is awaken our brothers and sisters in Israel. Please join me in doing that. Please like my videos. Give me a little bit of support. Make comments. Share this with other people. Subscribe. And show me a little bit of love by following the link down below, buying my Bibles. There's 5 different formats I should say, of one version, the cheapest prices anywhere, or by going through this. You can also call the publisher up direct and order one up. Okay, give me a chance to earn your patronage, to earn the whole thing. Look, we're going to go political with this because that's what I got to do. Can't waste any more time. It's not going to be as scriptural today, although that's what this channel focuses on, is the truth that's in the Bible. And there's nothing more I love than talking about the truth that's in the Bible, what's actually in the Bible. Today I want to talk about the 17th Amendment. I just finished recording the Dr. Kent show. Go look up Dr. John Taylor Kent, and you will see that we talk about psychology, and we talk about sex and culture. We talk about the original sin. We talk about current events. We talk about Adolf Hitler and putting that genie in the bottle. We talk about the destruction of the Third Reich, or the possible aspects of the Third Reich actually still continuing today and surviving. Certainly the grandchildren are in power in significant positions in the news, in their nations. So that's all covered on the other channel. What I want to talk about on this one is the deal that Congress and the Senate made, whereby they corrupted the Republic completely. And you and I might not be able to agree upon the type of government we should be having. And in which case, I think what we can do is come to agree upon one thing. That is, the structure the founders gave us was right. And we can agree to go right back to that, which in my book means a return to the original 13th Amendment that provided for the separation of powers. And all the other amendments should be done and gone away with. The 17th Amendment is particularly annoying because the senators were supposed to represent their state governments. And as representative of the state governments, they were elected by the people in their states to the Senate or congressional, well, their legislative branches in the states. They have a Congress and they have a Senate, same structure as at large. However, when those guys took their seats, they argued among themselves and they chose 2 men. It can be a woman, I don't mind that. But they chose 2 from among themselves to go to Washington, D.C. to represent the state government. You see, it was the state governments that were the parties to the Constitution, authorizing the formation of the central government. So, as you can see, because the state governments, the parties to the Constitution, the original parties, no longer have representation. We don't have a republic. And let's talk about the conspiracy. Now, this is from a friend who hung out with a very old man at the time, all the way to the end of his life, and I wish I could remember his name. Anyway, he probably passed away 4 decades ago or more. Yeah, easy. The Congress wanted to be paid, and they wanted to become professional politicians for life. You see, Congress, as originally conceived and as originally implemented, they didn't get paid. Congressmen were expected to give their time to the country. That's why it was just a 2-year term. And when they ran out of money and could no longer afford to support themselves, it was expected they would go home and go back to work. and somebody else would take their place. Thereby, there was no need for term limits. We need to go back to that. So Congress wanted to become professional politicians, professional leeches, which they certainly are today. They're nothing but a bunch of parasites. Most of them are good neck-stretching material, and that's about it. Oh yeah, there's a handful, maybe 2 handfuls that are okay, but no more than that. And they made a deal. Congress made a deal with the Senate. The Senate wanted to be able to be in for life. You see, the way it originally worked is that they came from their state legislators. They voted among themselves and they sent their representatives in. And they were paid. I think that we need to change that a little bit, though. Hold on for that. But the most important thing was that should they fail to represent the state government properly, by failing to vote the way the state government wanted them to vote, they were subject to instant recall, firing. So they could be recalled from their seats in Washington, D.C., and they'd have to go back home to the seat to which they had been duly elected in their own state legislatures. Trouble with those enunciations. So they could be instantly fired. So you wouldn't have any mavericks or any bullshit like that. They'd be fired instantly. But instead, we pay them, and they become permanent leeches, parasites. They become glorified congressmen in a certain sense. And they screw up what the Senate was supposed to do. Thereby, they've destroyed the republic by no longer representing the state governments. So I say we go back to that, and we take it a step further. There will be no more federal pay for senators, no more federal benefits for senators, except perhaps the franking, well, not the franking privilege, but we could give that to them. I think that congressmen, we put them on a simple per diem. That's the way it was. They were given maybe whatever cost of lodging and 3 meals for the day of service were. That's what we give them today. D.C. is probably pretty expensive, so I would think that they could get by on $300, $100 for their 3 meals, $200 for lodging, $300 per day, and we stick it to them by saying it's for full day served, no voting in absentia. You can't have somebody else vote on your behalf. You got to be present. And if you miss a vote, no pay. And we can go a step further than that, but we can debate this one. And that is, should we or should we not require that they vote up or down? In other words, no present voting, no abstentions. You either vote yes or no, or you don't get your per diem. With the senators, I think we require their states to pay, the salary, and the benefits they deem appropriate for their Senate representation. And maybe go as far as to say that should not their governor and maybe the treasurer of their state sign a paycheck from that state that goes to them so they know who they're beholding to, and thereby alleviating the burden on the government as a whole, because we really do need to shrink these budgets down. We need to bring it down so we're living within our means. You know, it's been a big communist takeover. You may not think so, but when you look at family structure, it has become communist. Women like the feel-good stuff. That's what they vote for. My God, they took away alcohol. What happened as a result of that? You got organized crime. What happened as a result of that? You got even bigger organized crime by organized government crime. That's how you got your FBI. There's so much we need to do to change this. I want to keep this pretty short today. Our founders all read the Bible. The Bible was the one book they all learned to read from, including Mr. Payne, who didn't have any belief at all. He just had a good sense of morality, good sense of ethics, and common sense. They all read the Bible, and they knew we were Israelites. They knew who they were. They also all had in common leaving the churches over there to found their own churches here. And they valued that. And as a result of that, they established freedom of religion, freedom to religion, not freedom from religion. I know it's going to be a hard sell, but just hear me out. What they did is they certified that there would be no federal state religion. There wouldn't be an official religion for the country like they had over in England. Okay? However, in each state, there was a religious test to run for office, hold office. So they had that. That was permitted. And they had different religions in different states. We do need to go back to that. We need to restore the 10 Commandments on this land. That is the law of the land. We need to turn once again to Deuteronomy to make sure that we're in line with the laws that God gave us, that Yahweh gave us, the natural laws, the 10 Commandments. And there are other things in there to look at as well. Did you know that shutting your shop down for Christmas was not allowed in the colonies? It was considered a crime to shut down on Christmas Day. It was recognized as a pagan holiday. There's a little bit more to Christmas than that. If you look up in the Bible and the prophets, it'll talk about worshiping a tree, bowing down, getting on your knees to worship the tree and put gifts under it. That is against the Bible. It's extensive what's in there. Then look also at the fact that in the Maccabee books, 1 Maccabees, we have the first Christmas on the 25th of the month. And it was a horrible event that's documented there. You need to learn what that was about. So the enemy gives us the wrong days, changes the times on us, changes even the months, changes even the calendar year. Does all of that as if they are Yahweh, Creator, Father God. I need you to buy my Bibles. I need to make some money. I need you, even if you have to give them away, go ahead and do that. For me, for yourself, for them. Because I'm afraid there's going to be a time in which you're not going to be able to get Bibles here. The other problem is that I need a favor. I want the Apocryphal books in modern English with the proper spirit. I've got one version in modern English that doesn't have the spirit in it. I got another version in Old English that was from the wrong text, the wrong sources. So I want to come up with the proper one. So please help me. You can email name publishers. You can call the office up. Get your name on a list if you want to buy a copy of the Apocrypha. And once we have enough people, and my goal is 5,000 people, then we can move forward with printing them, and it'll take a full 6 months to get them. I thought that was kind of quick. I figured it might be 2 years. I'd wait 2 years to get it. It's that important. Why do you need the Apocrypha? The Apocrypha basically proves who the Israelites are. It also shows you that the Edomites were the ones who burned the temple down. It shows you that Christmas Day that was so ugly years ago, during which the mothers were killed and the babies, their male children who they had circumcised, were killed and hung from their necks. And it explains the abomination of desolation in detail. I haven't read that book enough to talk about it much. It also gives future prophecies which we are living through now. It continues on with the prophecies that were revealed to Daniel and some that Daniel wasn't given. It gives us all of that. It refers to the beast system which the United States of America Corporation has truly become. I had a vision quite a while back. I wrote President Donald Trump a letter. He didn't respond to many of my letters. He only responded to when I sent him a copy of the Bible. That was it. All right, that was nice. I got a thank you note. In my vision, I was up in the air, looking over the world from quite a ways up there. And I watched. The American flag was on each of the states. But I watched as the American flag popped up over some of the provinces in Canada, one by one on the western side. I watched as Western Canada went full-blown American under the Constitution. And then suddenly I saw the flag popping up at the edges of the horizon. Other nations were adopting our flag. They're not going to adopt this interstate commercial code and this bullshit we have going on today with Admiralty, Maritime law, martial law. They're not going to accept that at all. They're only going to accept the real Constitution and the truly diverse embrace that it provides. So I saw that as part of the future. Half of Canada, more than half of their landmass anyway, went with us. I think we might have a Pax Americana coming. Maybe 1,000 years. That would be biblical. You see, I think our fates are in the Bible encoded. I think we're not stuck with one in particular. I think that Yahweh plans horrible judgments, including for Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, in which he will do to Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 just what he did with Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbors back then. We discovered the tell, and we excavated it, and we discovered that the angels used nukes on all those communities. It was hellfire and brimstone. And that is what is in our future if we do not repent. So this is the 17th episode of Awakening Israel. We are talking about the 17th Amendment and how it is unconstitutional and needs to be done away with. Just like the 13th Amendment needs to be done away. 14th, 15th, and 16th, all of the rest of the amendments need to be obliterated. We need to return to our roots, to the original structure our founders gave us. We need to return to real money. The Bible tells you what real money is. It gives you a weight, a substance, a tangible substance, gold, silver, of a specific purity. That is gold and silver. That is money. The stuff that we have today is not money. Through a series of frauds across decades, including the 1800s, they've defrauded us. The bankers have done this. They've done it on purpose. We do not need to worry about a reserve currency at all. We don't even need a reserve currency. We need to merely return to coin silver for daily transactions and some coin copper and coin nickel, fine, and coin gold. That is money. That's what needs to be certified up. Most of the gold from America has been stolen. North America has the highest concentration of gold in the world. Mexico probably has the highest concentration of silver in the world. Silver is worth a lot more than we give it. Gold is worth a lot more than we give it as well. We need to return to honest money that cannot be inflated, that our Congress, our parasites, cannot rob the rest of us by playing with that phony money anymore, that they can't manipulate us into wars and into debt and enslave us to that monetary system. Join me if you will. Like, subscribe, comment below. Get one of my Bibles and start reading it. Ask questions. Talk to one another. Get to become friends. If you meet each other through the comments, wonderful. So all I can say is that we need to let this thing take off for 2023. We've got a war on the horizon, and it's coming here. The target isn't just the Ukraine. They want us. That's what they did with the COVID-19 bullshit they pulled on us where they took away our rights. We were the target. They took down the whole world with that and solidified their hands on it. And don't trust any of these men. Don't put your faith in them at all. Put your faith in the Bible and in the Word of Yahweh. Learn His name, Yahweh. Learn His Son's name, or learn His name in the flesh. There's a couple ways to look at that, you know. Yahshua, the Messiah, whom you call Jesus the Christ. That was foisted off on us a long time ago. This new version of the Bible will correct it for you. By the way, the Christ is mentioned in there as well. There's a few times it's mentioned, but not very many times. Messiah is the term that was mentioned for the most part. Okay, folks, I'm going to close it at that. 22 minutes into it. I hope you take this to heart. May Yahweh bless our republic again.